You're listening to a 4x4 Radio Network podcast.
Hey Jeepers, it's Scott here with my co-host Kevin here on Glorious Show 142. We have too much to do. As always, I am the slapstick parts guy on a continual mission to not only derail my own train of thought, but Kevin's also. Sitting directly across from me in Studio A1A would be Kevin, the engineer?
Engineer.
There you go.
IR engineer. Yesterday I couldn't spell it. Yeah, I'm the engineer, the guy that reads instructions, generally uses the right tools and follows those instructions, something like that. Honestly, folks, we're kind of a little bit sideways, off kilter, whatever you want to call it. Life has handed both of us independently a huge plate full of what Farmer Brown hauled away.
Yes, you can buy a bag of it.
Yeah, composted, it works better than fresh, but it's been fresh for us.
Steaming pile of it.
Anyhow, that's really not your problem. That is ours, and ours isn't all bad. I mean, Scott has relocated on the other side of the state,
Yeah,
and is still dealing with closing out his issues here. And I am still a couple of weeks away from physically moving my hacienda from the old location to the new one we just built, and surrounded by boxes, empty furniture, and to-do lists as far as getting everything ready to go.
One of your boxes were meowing earlier.
Yeah,
Joking.
well, we pack and go.
Scratch, scratch.
Yeah, I don't think
me
so. We check every night to make sure both of them are out. Don't have people sending me hate mail. But anyway, this is a Jeep podcast, not a moving podcast.
Yes, so we were kind of...
I moved the Jeep.
Yeah, and so did I, actually.
Yeah.
So both of our Jeeps are in their prospective new home, just mine's not in the garage yet.
Oh, mine is. Mine's in its new home garage. It's all bright and shiny with one of those epoxy coated speckled floors. We'll see how well that stays together.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it has only seen some, what would I call it, limited duty with a neighbor who had, half a dozen shrubs they needed pulled out. And so before it left, we went over there and applied some Warn 9000 to the shrubs. And they just jumped right out of the ground for us with very little work.
I'm doing the same thing with my neighbor, actually.
So not exactly what I think Warren designed the winch for, but it worked nonetheless. And I will admit the neighbor was looking at me going, this is the easiest I've ever pulled, holly out, because holly has little sharp leaves that stab.
Yes.
And, seek revenge. And we had very little of that.
Yeah, that's why they say deck the halls with boughs of holly, and then it says 'tis the season to be jolly. I've never decked those bells with that holly because you end up
They're
with...
halls, not bells, but okay.
That too, yeah. Yeah, deck the bells with halls.
Mentholyptus or...
I don't know. I'm tired.
Yeah, so anywho, I guess on to Jeep related, which
Yes.
is, and in case those of you in some part of the world who aren't noticing that fuel prices have gotten somewhat ridiculous, perhaps.
Yeah, especially driving
wherever
to and
you are,
from.
let me know. I'll move there.
Especially driving over 100 miles now.
Yeah. So, not that we're going to get into anything to do with why they're that high. You can choose your current political theorist and let them tell you all about it.
Yes.
But what we thought we'd talk about for a moment, because it's near and dear to my wallet, is what can we do other than selling the Jeep? That's off the table, Scott. I'm sorry. But what can you do to maybe lessen the shock to your wallet every time you pull up to the pump?
The sting. And as for some of us, like, they don't daily drive their Jeep and whatnot. And I get that. That's, kind of like I'm in that. Well, I daily drive the Jeep. Doesn't matter. Both my vehicles
I was
are
going to
Jeeps.
say both of them are Jeeps, so it's not like either one of them get absolutely fantastic
fuel mileage. But
fuel
I've actually
mileage.
been feeling the sting the past couple of weeks because I've been driving to and from the camper from my house, and it is a 2.5 hour drive.
Yeah, all the way across the state.
Yeah, and so I have been spending a lot of money in fuel, and I started thinking, because again, it's anytime gas gets above a couple bucks a gallon, all of a sudden it comes out of the woodwork. Hey, how can I get better miles out of my Jeep? And
Right. So, we want to look at some of the things that I'm not talking about investing money, because of course you can get rid of your Jeep and buy a I don't know, economy car, and or you can buy another car. And guys, we're not talking about that. You know, we're talking about your Jeep and what little things you can do, and they're not really always to your Jeep. Sometimes it's between the ears. Yeah. Okay. So obviously, I'm going to start off with a real simple one, Scott. Go out and check the air cleaner on your Jeep. If it can't breathe, it's going to, run rich, and which is going to really waste your fuel economy and make you push the go pedal harder. So check your air cleaner.
Check your check engine light.
Yeah. Take a look and make sure that you don't have any restrictions, anything problematic that's burning extra fuel. Number 2, check your tire pressures. We tend to run a little soft, and I'm the first one that does that. But maybe a couple of PSI will help you a couple of % on your mileage. Fuller tires, easier to roll. Now, you can cause wear problems if you get too carried away with that.
Right.
But, if you run them up a little bit, they will have lower rolling resistance. Simple things. Do some maintenance. Do an oil change and do a grease job. Bearings that are well lubed spin easier. Drive shafts that are greased properly, providing they have the ability to be greased. Some models don't. Will get better mileage. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, just not only that, also, is it true what they say? Like if you buy gas in the morning, you get more of it because it expands or contracts. Is any of that kind of stuff true?
Not really. Okay. Ideally, yes, there is expansion and contraction, but gas storage tanks are below grade. And they're all pretty equalized, and you're gonna. I don't care whether it's morning or afternoon, unless your gas station is one of the old ones that has those big old tanks out back that say no smoke and it might go boom. I'd stick. You're pretty much what you buy is going to come out of the ground probably in the mid 50 degree, and that's why when you go get petrol in your thing for your lawnmower. And by the time you get home with it, here in Florida at least, the container is bulging and you have to pop that vent. Otherwise, it pops itself and sprays gas everywhere.
Yeah, which is not a good thing.
Not a good thing. Let's see. What else can we do? Well, aside from the obvious maintenance, take the junk out. It costs money to carry everything with you. If you're daily driving it to work, do you really need your high lift jack? Do you need your bottle jack? Do you need your box of tools? Do you need all the stuff? Right now, if you take all of that out and leave it in the garage and put it in only when you need it, you're carrying a lot less weight.
Another thing,
weight costs money to move.
Weight costs money to move. Another thing that, again, I guess I'm going to be the copyrighted name myth thingy. The question I have is that air conditioners. From what I've read and seen, it's about 10% of your efficiency is in the air conditioner. So let's say you have 100 horsepower, 10 horsepower is going to turn that compressor. Okay, I'm using this in the term of fuel.
Yep.
Other people said as soon as you roll the windows down, you have even more wind resistance.
Yeah, you have a higher drag coefficient.
So it's better to run the AC at higher freeway speeds than it is to run the windows down. I mean, it doesn't matter. We're all carrying a barn. We're all driving a barn.
I was going to say, if you can run with open windows, you're probably going to save a little fuel. Not much, in all honesty. Now, here in Florida, that's pretty extreme, okay, because most of the time you turn it on recirc, high efficiency, or high mode, and it never comes off.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's fine. But, yeah, if you're in the morning going to work and it's cool, roll down your windows. Give the compressor a break. Again, it's a toss-up. You are going to have a higher drag coefficient, but not a whole lot more on a Jeep. I'm not sure that, when you're flying a brick sideways, taking a chip out of the corner is really going to make a difference.
Kind of like running with a 4x8 sheet of plywood into the wind.
Yeah. I do know, like I said, things with the tires can make a huge difference. I saw that myself.
Yeah.
The other thing is in your head. Think it through. If you're one of those people that, I've just got to run out and get my prescription refilled at the drugstore. Oh, okay. Now I've got to run out and run down to the grocery store and get dinners. Okay. Oh, well, now I need to run down to Walmart or Lowe's or pick a name. And if you do more than 2 or 3 stops, in and out, you're really burning a lot of gas. Go back. A lot of you guys, it's weird for me to say this, are too young to remember the 70s and the gas crisis. And it got to be a fantasism to plan your trip. okay, if we leave here and we make a big circle, I can go to the drugstore, and then I can go to the, Walmart, and then I can go over to the Home Depot or Ace Hardware. And on the way back, I make sure I swing in. Then I'll get the groceries because they got to stay cold, so I'll go to the grocery shop. And you make, the extreme was to make one round-robin trip and get everything in one point because, the cold start and the initial driving has the highest consumption of fuels. So if you plan your trips, probably I would argue that might be the most significant reduction in fuel consumption if you just plan your trips and chained them together.
And speaking of being between the ears, also too, one thing if you listen to heavy rock music, you get that want to drive fast. If you listen to a Jeep podcast, like say this one, you're calm, you're more cool, you're more collective, you're less chance to have your foot buried in the rhino lining and or carpet. You know?
Well, and it's sad but true. Everything except the last part about this podcast. You may get so angry at Scott's bad jokes that you're stomping your foot to the floor anyway. But
I'll show him.
But regardless, he is correct that your attitude really makes a difference. Look, you're in a Jeep. You're not going to outrun the Lamborghini next to you, okay? No matter how cool your Jeep is, no matter how much you look down the seat covers, never mind, we won't go there.
Yeah, I was going to say, easy there, Tiger.
Certain views. Just go ahead and start off, avoid the jackrabbit starts. These, to me, are old notes from, like I said, the 70s. But
it'll also save your tires, too.
Yeah, it'll save your tires, and it's less stress on the engine. And you know what? The guy behind you can either pass you or, just wait. You'll get there.
I remember that sticker. Go around. If it was meant to be fast, it wouldn't be shaped like a brick.
Yes. Well, there's some truth to that.
I need that.
But and then the other thing is look into some of the apps that tell you the gas prices in your area. Mm-hmm. One of the things I have noticed is we here in Central Florida can see upwards of 20 cents a gallon differences between different stations at different times. Mm-hmm. And you start looking at that and going, okay, well, what's 20 cents? Well, when you fill a 15-gallon tank, or let's say you put 10 gallons in, that's $2 each time. So, is it worth driving around to hunt for it? No. You'll burn as much gas, going to hunt. But some of the apps and on the websites, they can tell you what the current posted price of fuel. So you can do some shopping around. Just be wary of a station that you pull into that looks cheap and it doesn't look like the pump handles got been out in ages and there's spider webs because that gas may be so old that you're in trouble with.
It comes with the pamphlet on stop, drop, and roll from the 50s.
Right. So,
no, wait, duck and cover. That's what it was.
Yeah, duck and cover. I remember those.
Mm-hmm.
I am sorry about that, but I actually do remember that. And not that I was in school in the 50s. That I just came into the end of that decade, but that was still around even when I started school in the 60s. So, but other things that you look at, clean or dirty really doesn't make a hill of beans in a vehicle, like you said, shaped like a brick. Mm-hmm. To the extreme, if you have your old street tires still on rims sitting in the back corner of the garage and they're not dry checked, you could put them on for the time being, and you'll be surprised at how much better your mileage would be. But that's a little radical.
It'll look like you skipped leg day, unless you're re-geared. If you're re-geared for 35s and you put on the factory 32s, that might be counterproductive.
It might not. Depends on your driving.
Yeah.
But again, keep your foot out of it. You're not in a race. And, we may get to the point where they start talking carpooling again. If you're really going to go to the extreme, find out if one of your other Jeeper friends needs to make a shopping run and you guys go together in one vehicle. The next time you take yours and then theirs and you kind of go back and forth. We've become very spoiled, in the 2000s that fuel was available and it was relatively cheap and, everybody wanted to drive their own thing. And so you've got some options there as well. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. It's just trying to think of anything else we could throw out there.
Well, the only thing I can say is you see those magnets you attach to your fuel line and all that kind of stuff. No,
mostly hokum.
The only thing I could suggest, if you're really worried about it, one of the things I run, and I do see between a 1 to 3 mile per gallon increase, is I run ethanol free because ethanol free has a higher BTU. and therefore has more power. But the only downside to that is that some of the newer vehicles now are engineered with the 10% ethanol, and that helps with cylinder cooling.
Yep.
So it's a 110. It's kind of like the old, let me inflate my tires to save on gas, but now I wear my tires out.
Well, that's good. You can extreme anything.
Yeah.
Like I said, the biggest one for me is just thinking what I need to do today and trying to get them into one trip.
Right.
And it's amazing. You don't realize how many of your miles are just getting from your house out to wherever your stores are, and then once you're there in the shopping district, so to speak, you're there. So why not make all of your stops? Why not talk to your spouse and make sure that you're doing things correctly? That you're getting everything that needs to be gotten. Think about it. If you can cut out one trip a day, that could probably save you a tank of fuel a month.
Well, now on top of that, again, that will add up, especially now to big savings. But the other thing too, if you have these auto start stop features, I know that's a big, it takes more fuel to start an engine than to keep it running. Donut Media, hoping I'm saying my references correctly, Donut Media actually did a test on that, and it was 0.7% of fuel savings by using the auto start stop. Now, again, doesn't seem like much. And again, are you wearing out your starter more than for the gallon of gas? That's on the fence. Like, do I find it annoying? Yes, I do. But I also know that, if I don't have my foot firmly on the brake and I just kind of have it barely up a little bit, the auto start stop will not go off on the Gladiator, and I don't have to keep hitting that button on the dashboard. You can get the taser and stuff like that if you want to. But again, the point is that there are ways around it. And again, you're counting pennies at this point, but again, pennies add up.
Pennies add up.
Like you said, $2 per tank, 10 tanks is $20. A year, it could be it could be $2,000. It could be $1,000. It could be, who knows? You
have to decide what's it worth it to you, when you do your Jeep. I wish there was some panacea, but there isn't. And replacing your Jeep, well, you can do that. Obviously, that's your choice. But, when I look at the cost of new Jeeps, whether, like the EV4.
Oh, the 4xe?
4xe, I'm sorry. I'm confusing it with something else. The 4xe, that's really great. But what it costs, I can buy a lot of gas for a while.
Yeah. That's, again, some of the government rebates are going away, I think. From I heard it's on the 4xe site. But they're going to come out with a 4xe Gladiator. Now, here's a big question I have for that is the 4xe Gladiator going to have still the V6 engine? Because the Gladiator is a pickup truck. It's a mid-sized pickup truck designed to tow and carry utilities. So I don't think the 4-popper turbocharge that's in the 4xe will really benefit the Gladiator, 4xe, for lack of better terms. Again, there's still hush-hush about that. There's only talk of that stuff. But it's one of those kind of things where it's like, it's a great idea. Neat. Where would you put the batteries?
I got you. I mean, I have no idea. There's probably a lot more room lengthwise, to squeeze in places, but depends on the batteries and the sizes and the packaging kind of. So yeah, it's going to be interesting, folks. And, this whole, fuel being up 300% since, 2 years ago, has been a little rough. We do run a fairly high consumption vehicle style. Yeah. So, everything that you can do probably helps you, obviously, in that point. But if everybody got together and did it, we'd also take a bite out of the certain companies that are making unbelievable windfall profits right now, too. So, I don't know. I'll be interested to hear what you guys have. Feel free to jump on our Facebook page and drop us a line and see if you got any great ideas for that, for maybe tweaking the economy of your Jeep a little bit or your mindset or your processes for shopping in such a way that, you can maybe get a little bit more out of your Jeep. Because, I don't know about you guys, but I'm not giving up my Jeep.
Yeah, the more money we save in fuel, the more money we have for parts.
Yeah, God, and more we need them.
Yes.
But, we do know that on tires, you do look, the more aggressive the tire, the more fuel it consumes to turn it. So that's where the guys that are running the ATs and the smaller tread blocks are probably making a couple of percent better than you. So if you're in the room for tires, You might want to consider those for the near time because I don't see this situation changing anytime soon.
Well, there's that thinking, and then there's also people like me that go, nah, the Cooper STT Pros just look so cool.
That's fine. That's your
I will
choice.
burn the extra 2 gallons of gas a mile. Yeah, no, wait, 2 miles. Yeah, you know what I mean.
I'll remind
I
you
almost had that backwards, but in non-context, probably not.
True.
Yeah, my miles per gallon went from 19 to just like a skull and crossbones or a dead skunk. I have no idea what that means.
Yes, I won't embarrass you with what I'm getting in the F250 right now.
Yeah, I know you're getting much better, but that's a diesel.
Yes, it is.
So, let me, all things considered, though, Kevin, with the fuel prices the way they are, would you still consider a diesel swap for the TJ?
Yeah, I would.
Even with diesel being so much more expensive than gas.
Yeah, because I'm sitting out there with a 6,000-pound truck that's pulling over 20 right now.
Right.
As far as my runaround average city mileage, not even my highway. The key is adapting your driving style to your power plant so that your driving style. I don't launch the truck very often. Usually I do it when you're in there just for the grins to have you go, oh shit.
Just for.
I'm sorry, that's a cuss word now, isn't it?
Taking a picture. There we go.
Just so you guys know what happens is when I utter one of those 7
Dirty
deadly
words.
sins, he takes a picture of the time clock on the studio board that's recording this so that he can go back and bleep it out or air tool it out or whatever you're using nowadays. So sorry about that.
No, it's okay. No, because
he literally is explicative deleter.
Yeah, literally. Because I guess the diesel Gladiator's out, and people talk about the fuel mileage. Everyone's like, "Oh, you bought it for the towing?" No, I bought it for the fuel mileage.
Well, and again, you can get the best economy you can out of any given situation.
Right.
Even a person with a Prius who drives Leadfoot, jackrabbit from light to light is going to get a lot lower fuel mileage than someone who drives one with the thought process of, okay,
There's an egg under the accelerator. Don't break it.
Don't break it. I haven't heard that one in a long time. But, I'm really curious what everybody's doing right now. Are we just, cussing when we fill it up and putting a sticker of a certain, political figure on it with a finger pointing at it going, I did this?
Well, the worst part was...
Or are you actually adjusting a little bit?
When I was sitting there at the gas pump the other day, getting gas for the 5th time in 3 days.
Ouch.
I sat there and I put the nozzle in, the guy on the other side of the pump, this is outrageous. I'm going to go tell the manager. Like, okay, that's going to do nothing, but okay, whatever makes you feel better there, cowboy.
Mm-hmm.
One other thing, too, because I really like using local businesses as best I can.
Mm-hmm.
If you can get some of this stuff from Amazon, let them spend their gas.
Well, you're paying for it anyway, but yes.
Yeah, just get some stuff delivered. Again, that's one of those kind of catch-22s. I try and do as much small business as I can, but if I'm sitting on the couch and I don't want to get up, Amazon it goes. So
no, I have to use it too because there's a lot of things that I'm shopping for that are not available locally. Really, it does give you quite literally worldwide access to just about anything.
Yeah.
So. Anyhow, interested again what you guys' thoughts are as far as ways that, maybe can stretch the fuel dollars a little bit in your Jeep. Basics are drive sanely, plan your trips. Carpooling's always an option, and stay away from the Willie Nelson's, I won't say it, but it's green stuff outside, bottom end, and fuel, but no one rides for free, if you know that.
Okay, gotcha. Yes. Okay.
I kept it clean for you.
You did. It took a moment. I'm like, where is he going with? Oh, I've seen that sticker. Yes. It's actually, I think Brian had one in the back of his Jeep for a little bit.
Yep, he did.
That's where you got it from, isn't it?
Yeah, well, no. I can remember watching him in concert when he actually told us that.
Oh. Well, another update, though, for the rest of our listeners is the lift is still in my garage.
Oh, heavens. You realize that Will, Madsen, everybody out there is going to be
when they came to Memorial Day sale, I almost pulled the trigger and lift the Gladiator and install it in that one first, just for spite, but I didn't. I didn't order anything because where am I going to put it?
Yeah, exactly. Well, you have a house now with a garage.
It's full, but and both Jeeps are out in the driveway, so it is. So someone's Corolla's in the garage, but my Jeeps get to sit outside.
Well, that sounds normal.
Yeah.
So
it's what I wanted, but no, I that's the thing too. It did take a hit out of the budget because now I'm having to spend a little more wiser. Am I what is a need? What is a want?
Yeah.
With the upgrades in the LJ, like I'm still waiting on my seat brackets. But that's going to be what it's going to be. Mm-hmm. But I think the LJ, for the most part, right now is, with the exception of wrapping it and a few other things, it's done for the moment. Now I'm thinking about the Gladiator. But again, a lot of these things I'm thinking of is like, okay, once I put that lift on, it's going to affect the fuel mileage even more.
Yes, it is.
Because everyone, you made a comment one time. Everyone thinks about the wind going over the Jeep, and the drag.
Yep.
The wind going under it can be just as draggy.
Or more so. It's actually more so. I can remember a long time ago there was I don't remember which truck magazine was running a special, but this was back in the late 70s, early 80s. And they were seeing what could be done to increase fuel mileage as a test on a pickup truck. These were back in the late 70s, Chevys, Fords, Dodges. And they had a test mule that they started doing little mods, and that's where they proved and disproved a lot of the crazy things: the methanol injection, the water injection, the magnets on the fuel lines, this, that, and the other thing. And one of the things that was surprising was that they put a chin spoiler under the bumper of like a mid 70s K10 or C10, I guess. K10 would have been the
4-wheel drive version.
The 4-wheel drive, but and they brought it down about 6 to 8 inches, just flat aluminum. And now you see them on a lot of cars out there. And it turns out by deflecting the air out and around, you think, well, that's just a big flat board. Yes, it was. It didn't even have a bend in the middle to be smooth. It just pushed the air out and around the sides of the vehicle as opposed to letting it go under the vehicle. And they got something like a 0.7 mile per gallon increase just from that one change. And I've read quite a few things about aerodynamics, and the undersides of vehicles are dirty as all get out in terms of draggy. And if you start looking at the ecomobiles, they put bottom belly covers over them, and they've smoothed it out. I know my daughter's little Honda Civic Sport has more plastic under there and sheet metal, very lightweight stuff, but it's there predominantly just to steer the air out. Now, of course, what do? We lift ours, we put the axles and all the suspension arms, and we hang everything out in the drive shafts, and they're in the breeze staying nice and cool. Yeah. And putting drag. And I'm not saying that you need to go out and put an air dam in front of your Jeep. I'm just saying that we don't think about those kinds of things, but they are sources of drag, which slows us down. Now, the way you combat drag is it goes up with the square of the velocity. So, as faster you go, if you go twice as fast, that's at least 4 times the air drag. So,
right.
If you slow down, you can probably make a huge difference. That's if you have the time to slow down.
Well, yeah. That's all part of the other part of the fun of the games with the slowing down. Because to be honest with you, I've seen too many people lately drive the 37-inch tall Wranglers weaving in that traffic going, that's not a sport bike, cowboy.
No. Oh, I do have a completely off-topic segue.
Okay.
South of here, on the way to the new house in Lithia, if we're down there, a little town called Pinecrest, Florida.
Yep.
There is a gentleman who has a very unique little car for sale outside.
Okay.
And it is actually the mother of the Jeeps.
Interesting.
It is a, American Bantam car.
Yep.
It's the car, the nose of it. If any of you have looked into Jeep history and you see the original Bantam Jeep, the one that was put into the whole selection process, and unfortunately the company was kind of done a dirty by the federal government, and they handed off the Bantam concept to Ford and Willys and, to make them. And Bantam really got left with very little, just minimal productions.
And they got to make the trailers, too.
And they got to make the trailers, yeah. And so, but it wasn't a great thing. And of course, to speed up production, the big guys came up with the flat 7-slot grill, which we're all familiar with. But in the beginning, it had a little rounded nose. Mm-hmm. And you look at the front of this Bantam, and it's the rounded nose. It's also the same frame that started off with that prototype Jeep. They just basically took the body off and built a quick tub that would fit over the back. And that is where we all got the Jeep that we know of, the very beginning. Mm-hmm. And this guy's got it for sale. He's an older gentleman. He kept it in the car shows and the whole 9 yards. And I keep driving by and looking, going, ooh.
I was going to say, so when are you going to get it?
I'm not. Because it's not tech.
I'm joking.
Yeah, no, but it's really cool. So if any of you out there are history buffs and looking for an American Bantam, there is one down in Lithia, Florida that keeps popping up on the side of the road with a for sale sign on it.
Hey, remember, we strategically named this on the trail with Kevin and Scott, not in the Jeep.
I understand that.
So, I understand. If you get something kind of off the wall and cool.
Yeah, well, that's just a little bit different to see it. It's kind of a reddish color. I'll try and remember to snap a picture and put it up on the Facebook page next time I see it going out. But unfortunately, it's on a chunk of road that take your life in your own hands trying to stop and take a picture.
Yeah. Well, just pull over.
Yeah, then it's like, oh, wait a minute. No, that picture's got a blurred truck. Nope, that's got a car. Nope, that's got
on that side of the road.
Yeah, he's got a fence in front.
Oh, okay.
It's going to be a little tough. That's
gotcha.
Probably one of the reasons he hadn't got a whole lot of people looking at it.
Hey, it's divine. It's meant to be. Buy it. Do it.
Yeah, no.
Like we need any more projects.
Yeah, no. Not happening.
I am forbade by myself to not buy any more Jeep parts until the lift is installed.
That's probably a wise thing.
Amazon come yet? Just kidding.
They deliver till 8 p.m. So you
no, I haven't ordered anything from Amazon in at least 2 hours.
Okay.
So we're good.
Little baby steps. Baby steps.
Baby steps is right.
So yeah, I just found it interesting to see the mother of the Jeep, and unfortunately the father was World War II.
Yeah.
But with that union, we ended up with our icon. Mm-hmm. So, kind of a neat concept to see that out there. I do have another question for our listenership.
Good, because I have one too. But go ahead.
Okay. Well, you do yours.
Okay. Well, my question is simple. If you own a Gladiator or a JL, let me know how you're doing it, and what kind of miles, and if you've had a whole lot of problems. Because I am
talk about an open-ended question.
I know. Well, and here's the reason being is the Gladiator is now starting to quote make me upset with the check engine light dance I'm going through right now. And so I'm just
puts that on again, off again, on again, off again.
Yes. It's I'm okay with the check engine light at some point, but it disables my remote start. And being a fat, sweaty guy in Florida in May when it's 99 degrees outside, I want my remote start and air conditioning. Okay, I am spoiled. Okay, I want it. No, but the. No, I'm just kind of, because again, I could go on the internet and do this and hear about all this and it's fiat this and garbage that. No, I don't want that. If you've had some problems or some good luck, let me know, because I'm kind of a little leery of things right now. I'm a little upset. As Kevin and I were joking on the way here, I almost wanted to sell it and buy a Dodge Dart and go be a hot rodder for a while. I still got the LJ, still got my street cred. But again, it's one of those kind of things. I'm just trying to see what your experiences are, And because I've already had one camshaft sensor going bad, and this auto start stop thing is annoying me. It will not stop and go off. That's my soapbox moment. That's all I got. So what was your question?
Okay. Well, this one's out for those of you who do play in the electronics media with your automachines. Mm-hmm. I'm in the market for a scanner programmer, and I've been looking at the Autels. Although I understand there's a Snap-on version, there's just about everybody has one nowadays. And I'm looking for one that has, without breaking the bank, a reasonable amount of abilities to do things like cam, crank, synchronization, like testing features, plugging into the OBD2 and then turning the vent valve on and off, reading the voltages out of sensors, and giving me real-time results And so I know that for example, the Autel 8000 series can read most things, but it's not really strong in the programming and activating, manually controlling. And it looks like that's a 9000 series Autel and up. But is there a particular submodel? They make more submodels than well, you guys wouldn't know Carter makes pills, but
Nice.
Is it worth to pay the difference to Snap-on for one of theirs, or to, there's a bunch of different brands out there, and I'm looking for one that gives me a fairly broad base, reasonable fees for licensing and updating, rather than outrageous amounts per year. And I just wondered if anybody's got some experience out there. So if you have a shop, or you're an avid DIYer like me who gets out in the middle and gets not only dirty but gets sparks a few times, and you have a favorite type of scanner programmer, yes, I know I could go all the way to the HP tuner, but I'm not really in that market of I don't have a dyno to work with and that kind of things to be doing that kind of flashing. I'm just looking at an everyday operational scan tool that will let me operate systems when you guys call me for help, and you have in the area stopped by, that we can plug in and do a little bit quicker. Yes, I talk about the fact that you can use a voltometer and a power probe and do just about everything. It just takes a lot longer. And if I can plug in and at least skinny down the diagnostics when working on Jeeps, I think it would help. So I'd like to hear what your recommendations are. And again, you can email us at
onthetrailpodcast@gmail.com, or Facebook Messenger, or Carrier Pigeon. But the Carrier Pigeon's got to figure it out because we like to play games.
Well, we're moving again too.
Well,
so they're going to lose their bearings for that.
That was almost like an interesting conversation Kevin and I had. It's like, hey, see you at 10 o'clock to record. Okay. I pull up to his old house and went, I am hoping he is really here, because we never clarified which house it's supposed to be at.
Yes. After the 11th, you're going to be going to the other house that's a half an hour closer to you.
Gotcha.
And I am going out in the boonies, folks.
Yes. So we will say that there is no intention, but just in case we're a couple days late on the show, bear in mind we are really busy. Please don't be angry at us. But no, I'm sure we'll get it done. We'll get it out.
Well, I was going to say we're recording it in time.
Well, this is
you
for
still
the
have
first.
to drive back. Yeah, I know. This is tomorrow. It's due out.
Right. But a show on the 15th.
Oh, that show.
Yeah, the show on the 15th.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, well
any ideas on the trail podcast at gmail.com again? It's kind of funny. We all kind of make jokes, and Kevin and I want to bring you guys a good product every time. But in my defense, Gunner the Trail Dog ate my homework for the show. So,
well, and it's also tough when we don't really. I've been out to the drive shaft at Shane and Melissa's once to chat with them to make sure everything was okay. I've been over to talk to the guys and gals at Linex and the project that they're working on. But everybody's kind of in that post Jeep Beach.
yeah.
Our friends at Red Scorpion Fab Works have just moved shops again. So he's over in his new shop and getting all set up there. So you ask him, what's going on, what's new, and he's just like, I don't have enough hands, brains, whatever. He's going nuts on that kind of stuff. And he's also getting ready to have a birthday coming up soon. So when you hear this one, if you hear this, Ron, happy birthday, Ron. Early. Let's see. It's just been...
Yeah, Mark took some vacation time off.
Yeah, Mark, I've seen all his posts that Mark and his significant other have been enjoying the warmth and water.
And their rest.
Yeah. What is that?
Something me and you will get to right around July.
I thought you were going to say when they close the coffin cover.
July 2025.
So I'm looking at the scan tool, and that's I know I've teased you guys 2 shows now, and I know there's a certain manufacturer out there. Hi, Mark, who is anxiously awaiting my input and thoughts on a product that he sent me before Jeep Beach. And I have yet to be able to install it, because that's one of the things I need is a programmer that can let me do some synchronizing and things like that. So that's why I'm asking for recommendations
and some patience.
And so, we'll get to the patience here. That's kind of like
the patience at your other garage.
Yeah.
Wait, I got the button.
There.
It would have been more funnier if I would have hit it in time. I know.
If you had actually been able to operate the panel that you.
I did that. Of course, I get that one right.
Of course, but you can always fix it in post.
Nah. What does cereal have to do with this?
Okie dokie.
I'm about to get sugar smacked.
He's winding up. Can you tell, folks?
No,
obviously the lunch we fed him has kind of kicked in, and the sugar. And
oh no, the lunch kicked in. Now I'm sleepy. I got a full belly. I'm going.
But
and I have stuff to do still. Yay!
Yay! Same here. Same here. I've been doing more, patching holes in walls and touch up paint than I have been adjusting, drive shafts and linkages and running wire problems. The wire problems I've been running have been 240 volts, not 12.
You've turned into Movecast with Kevin and Scott. No. No, it's kind of funny though, because again, a lot of people ask us how we're doing, so we're just kind of updating everybody. But no, one of the
how are we doing? What?
How are we doing just in general?
I don't know, General.
I deserve that.
You've been beating on me, Bucko.
I know. Now you're riding me like a jockey with a riding crop. So the point is that
Spurs too.
Ow. Family show.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question on something, because
go ahead.
Someone else kind of brought this up, and I'll just say, the guys that talked a little bit about on the Jeep Talk Show about the Jeep badges. What are your thoughts on the Jeep badges? The Jeep Trail of Honor badge. I think it's a neat idea.
If you like them, go for it.
And I'm the one still handing out ducks from Jeep Beach still.
My whole thing with that though is, if you like them, that's great. If you collect them, that's wonderful. But don't bash people that don't run them. It doesn't mean that they haven't gone on the trails. It just means they're not into the bling. And I'm okay with it. You want it? Great. You don't want it? That's equally as great. It's about what's under the badge, and under your right foot, really that matters. And what I don't like about anything, whether it's badge or otherwise, is, well, you're not cool because you don't have that.
The elitism.
Okay, that's a perfect way to put it. You don't need that. I mean, you show up to Jeep events, you show up to social events, and don't look down on somebody because their Jeep is stock or unbadged or isn't underlit or is underlit.
Doesn't run a certain banner.
It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. I will toss out there my one gripe.
Okay.
And this is one where it is exactly the opposite, which is showing a lack of respect. And this happened to me at an event not too long ago. I was invited to go to an event. And now when I go to a lot of the events at a facility, this was at a particular venue, and most of the people want to go outside to start with, and then they'll go inside and get food or drink or whatever. But the socializing's outside, talking to people about Jeeps and what are they doing with theirs and what's neat. And somebody decided that he should be the group's DJ. And he pulled up in a Jeep that was more of a old boombox on four-wheel drive, and proceeded to open up all his doors and windows and crank it up. And then even then, I can live with that, except that then he chose to play a offensive music with you complained about my word that started with S and ended with T. Okay. This was much worse, repeated extensively.
It's not appropriate for a family event.
And this was a family event. And when asked to turn it down, fed back with some explicatives and free country speech. And the answer was, you're at a business, you're at an event, you're not being respectful of other people. I don't care if you play your music, but you don't need to make it so that people on the other side of the highway can hear it. And I ended up leaving the event. And I was asked later, well, did you enjoy it? No, I did not. And, you're going to say, well, you're just an old, what? Well, yes, I am. I'm 64 years old, but the whole point of a Jeep event is for Jeepers to get together.
And talk. It's really hard to do that when NWA is being blared.
And I tried to walk over and tell the organizer, I'm sorry, I'm leaving. And he's, what? I have to go because we can't hear each other. Come over here. We'll talk over here behind this. Well, that's why I'm leaving, Yeah. And so, be a little bit respectful. Now, I'm pretty sure that the guy who was doing the obnoxious music doesn't listen to our podcast. But you know what, folks? I think we need to be a little more compassionate to each other. Yeah. And I know you're like, well, why aren't you understanding with that person? I am. There are events for stereo system, in cars, in trucks, in Jeeps.
Iasca, USAC, all that.
Right. You can go to those events and you're actually scored, rated. You get to shop. But
SPL, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, and that's fine. But when you're at a family Jeep event that's been advertised publicly, and that was the volume was obnoxious, but I can live with obnoxious. But the choosing music that was beyond not PG, this was basically, pornographic in content in a public location. That's going too far. And, for those of you who disagree, tell me why you disagree.
Yeah.
Freedom of speech is not freedom to abuse. And I think he crossed the line. But I will tell you that I will not go to any more events where that kind of event, that takes place. And what can I do about it? Nothing other than choose to remove myself. Mm-hmm. So, but just think about it. If you are listening and you do tend to run your stereo loud,
even wheeling,
think of the other people around you. Do they really want to hear that? If you keep the volume at least somewhat moderate and choose something that is appropriate. Remember, a lot of four-door Jeeps out there have something in the back doors that really shouldn't be listening to explicative, whether it's to a beat or not. And you may disagree with that, but I'm just telling you right now that in this country, that kind of non-PG-13 is generally not considered good manners.
Doesn't even matter the music. If we're all on a trail ride and something happens, you got to be able to hear the CB. You got to be able to hear instructions. You got to be able to know what's going on. And my biggest pet peeves is audio. Audio is my wheelhouse. I did
That's true.
USAC and Iasca Sound Challenge. I went to Spring Break Nationals. My buddy had 815s and a 94 Tercel. I get it. We did it. But see, we didn't drive around, and we didn't play music loud while we were on the road because, one, damages your hearing. Hearing is priceless. But two, it's also a bit annoying, because, again, I don't want to hear your music. Just as you're sure you don't want to hear my music. But all things considered, though, even then, I've been to a couple events where the DJ, I understand you're there to provide music for the crowd, and that's great.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need 4 cabinets at 1,000 watts each for a 25 space parking spot.
Yeah. Well.
Okay. You can have that equipment. That's all you got. You don't need it at half run.
Yeah.
Because no one can hear each other.
And that's it. And the thing is that I ask you, look at your event that you're going to. If you're going to a music event, by all means, knock it out. I will come to those, but I will come equipped with hearing protection, because from somebody who has an 18 decibel loss already, courtesy of several exploding motors and things like that back when I was young and foolish and working on drag cars, I don't want to lose what little bit I got left. Beyond that, it's just inappropriate where you're going to a social event. Understand, social event, to just self-designate yourself as the loudest vehicle out there, and I'm going to drown out the 747 landing over top of me.
Yeah. Well, and I'm an audio guy. I like some of these audio rigs. Mm-hmm. I do like the craftsmanship, some of the really cool box designs they did, and that's great. I kind of made a joke with Kevin when we went to Jeep Beach. Next to a certain vendor we were at was a person playing their music loud, and that was their booth, and that's fine. But when someone's trying to have a conversation about a Jeep part and you can't hear it because the music's too loud, I made a joke with Kevin, they should put all the audio guys on one side of the event and let them duke it out for supremacy while the rest of us over this way can have conversation.
Well, and I mean, some of those rigs are powerful enough they'd still drown out the entire motor speedway.
Yeah.
But again, I just ask for your look around you. I get it. Some people are happy. If other people are, running the other way, maybe you need to rethink your philosophy. But that's just my opinion. And that's the one thing about opinions. everybody has one.
Now, before
Most
you
of
think,
them stink, but everybody has one.
before you think Kevin and I are just old pops that don't have any fun, believe me, I've jumped in Kevin's truck when we've gone to lunch sometimes. And let me tell you something, homie here with his banging Olsfin stereo and his F-250, he's banging the old time music. But no, there's hard rock in there too. So, but the point is that, when I'm driving by myself and no one else is in the Jeep, yeah, come on. I listen to Rock the Bells, XM radio. I'm listening to old school hip hop sometimes. I'm listening to hard metal. I'm listening to Dungeons and Dragons podcast. That gets you weird looks when you pull up to a light.
Yeah, that's fine.
But the point is that, while I am...
Hey, look, you run AC/DC in that truck, it's louder with the windows closed.
Yeah, pretty much. But that's the thing. What I do is that so we do drive around with the windows down and enjoy our music and all that stuff. But I don't sit there and
Well, again, this was a specific instance where somebody had decreed that they themselves decided that we needed to. I guess it would have. I've been to many events with loud music, but the obscenities that loud that you couldn't talk. That just and I know they'll say, well, it was a bar grill. You kids aren't allowed in there. Beg to differ. Nowadays,
it
with
wasn't
the
a
food
new
laws,
club.
Yeah, the kids can come along, and there were children along. So, and for those of you that enjoy it, I'm fine. Go around the corner. The parking lot went all the way around the building. Set up a music area over there so that those of us that wanted to talk Jeeps and talk shop could do so. That's the only thing I'm saying is, the everybody's wants could have been accommodated, but one individual decided to set up right across from the front door to the establishment, and I still can't believe that the establishment didn't come out and go, yo.
Well, I'll take it one step further.
But
even when I was into auto sound, when we were at a meetup, and it's self-policed.
Yeah.
Because, like my friend Tom, who had the 815s, you don't have 815s and anything. Let me take a look. Oh, how's it sound? All right. Beep. And he would just do one little of a note on it because those bass CDs have certain notes, and he found the one song that looked, or someone else would have their music playing low, very, very low, and then occasionally they would turn it up real quickly and then turn it back down just as quick, just say, hey, yeah, this thing's loud when someone asks.
Yeah.
And that was it. There was sometimes almost over 50 cars in a parking lot, all playing music, but it wasn't a cacophony of frustration and anger and someone trying to overpower the other one. Now, were there people playing one burp notes back and forth to see who's loudest? Of course, that happens. But it was just a quick little burp.
Yeah, but that was also an event for that kind of vehicle.
And then again, no one was trying to showboat and say, I'm better than everyone else the entire time.
Yeah. So anyway, I'll get off my soapbox there. It's just one of those where I've gone to many, many, many Jeep events and had a blast at all of them. Met wonderful people doing wonderful things. And it just really struck me that an event was, I'm not going to say ruined, okay, because not everybody went home, but enough of us left that you realize that this individual went over the line.
Yeah.
And made it an uncomfortable event. No, it was an unenjoyable event for many people. So that person cost the business owner revenue because, okay, I'm not even going to stay here and have a drink or a sandwich or anything. I'm just out of here. And I was not the only one. There were plenty of Jeepers that were like, yeah, no.
This ain't the event for me.
This isn't the event for me. And when I asked the actual organizer of the event, did you intend that? He says, well, no. Was there a problem? Yeah. I said, and that's fine. You didn't mind the loud music, Well, no, but what's the problem? I said, obscenities every third word. Well, what's I said, and you didn't see the Jeepers who brought kids and immediately turned around and left? Well, I never really thought about why they left. I said, yeah, I'm not saying it is, but that's a high probability that, Jeeping has become, let's face it, folks, Jeeping has become a family event.
Yeah.
And I welcome that. Bring your kids to the event. Show them what Jeeping can give them in terms of outdoor skills, people skills, just having fun that isn't attached to a joystick, and a computer monitor. It's sad to see somebody kind of screw it up.
Yeah.
And that's just me. So off my soapbox, and you can send me all the hate mail you want. I'll file it with the others.
It's all right. Hey, speaking of soapbox, I got to go finish packing some boxes.
Yeah,
I
you
think
do.
Kevin does too. So
Yeah.
I know it's a short show, guys, and we didn't get too much into it. But again, it's one of those things that this is the real. Well, we're going to talk to you like we were, like anybody else. We just really been busy.
It has been crazy, and I'm hoping there'll probably be, like he said, one more show that hopefully life doesn't intercede with anything more dramatic. But I'm sitting here like seriously in the midst of, I can see probably 20 boxes stacked up in what used to be my dining room, 4 or 5 behind Scott. All the cases and shelving are empty.
All your trophy walls packed away.
And it's actually over at the new house. And so, yeah, we're going full bore at trying to get everything together and get moved and then get set back up again. And then you'll find all about the new, garage facilities that are in planning to go out there in the back couple of acres.
Lots of really cool stuff.
So
we just need a little more patience.
Yeah, well, and it is what it is. Again, thank you to everybody who has populated the inbox on Facebook with questions, and I've tried to answer those that I can, and some are pretty. The one on the it wasn't even on a Jeep engine. I have to laugh, but it was an LS problem.
Oh yeah.
I'm having a name blank.
But he fixed his problem.
Yeah, it turned out to be a cracked spark plug with a really, really nice picture of a carbon track, but he was having a repeating miss on cylinder 6, and then after he tried to fix cylinder 6, next he started getting random misfires all over the place, and we talked about it at the last show. We talked through a lot of his problems and possible solutions, and lo and behold, he sends us a picture going, okay, big old carbon.
Found it.
Yeah, found it. So
I'm sorry, the account is loading currently, so I do apologize for the
loading.
I think it was Patrick, wasn't it?
Let's see if I can open up the main machine quicker than you can get to that.
Your podcast is very important to us. We appreciate your patience. All agents are currently standing by, trying to look at a loading wheel spinning on his cell phone quickly. You'll have to excuse me. I charged my potato last night. That was my cell phone.
Okay.
Oh, I'm walking away. That's just taking too long.
That's taking too long?
Yeah,
okay. Well,
my Spud phone needs a new charging.
your Spud phone.
Hey, this Spud's for you. Oh, sorry. I've been watching Night Court, but no. Again, one of the things that as I'll touch back base on. Again, this is something that's been really cool for Kevin. His dream home, and a lot more garage content. And we can't wait because I can't wait to get the lift installed. That's going to be a good show. That's going to be a hallelujah moment. And then I also got to get the winch installed on the Gladiator. Got to get that taken care of. And I got my third brake light kit that I'm working on using the LED fog lamps from the Gladiator that came from the overseas version. Can't wait to install those. That's going to be a fun little job. But other than that, I can't wait to do some of this stuff with it. I'm actually getting enjoyed. I have decided I am going to wheel the Gladiator. Someone else is going to be taking over the LJ to wheel it a little bit, and yeah. Well, they want to go out and have fun, but they also want to learn to drive. But they feel why go out and buy a third Jeep for them when I can't drive both at the same time.
Well, that's true. That's absolutely a good concept there.
I think is it Will Richardson or Patrick W. Chase? I think.
I
can't, and I'm sorry if I got everyone's name wrong. This is terrible.
Well, I've just been happy that we've had so many folks coming in with questions and comments and feedback. Ed, always thank you, because I'm laughing because I was reading yours down too, and that was interesting as he was fighting with his 6. And Jeff, that's great. Tyler, Brent, just to mention a few. Brandon, of course, of always.
Was it Brandon?
Well, no, I'm looking. I haven't.
It was that guy, the one with the Jeep.
Yeah. George, David, Travis. I could go down the list. It just keeps on going and going and going and going. So really appreciate all the feedback. So and questions.
Yeah. No. So So the bullet point is we appreciate it. We'll hopefully have the name here soon. But
one of these days we'll get our act together. But don't count on it anytime soon.
No. Anything else you want to touch up on, sir?
No, I think we've probably hammered this one and drawn it out as long as we can without any real content.
Yeah. It's the B team, guys. It's Tuesday afternoon at the Gentleman's Club. You see the C-section scars and bullet wounds.
C-section scars? Whoa.
It's an old...
Whoa. Yeah, I know.
It's a Bloom County reference. Opus and Build a Cat.
I know exactly who you're referring to. I just hope the rest of our listeners do.
That's me showing my age, Captain Pop-Pop. Oh my God, if I'm Captain Pop-Pop, you're Admiral Pop-Pop. So, kids, before I get punched or kicked, it's time for us to lock the hub, put the Jeep in 4-low, and hit the trail.
You do get that one right most of the time. I'm
Most of the
impressed. All right, folks, remember, as we always say, please take nothing but pictures, memories, and, of course, your trash when we leave the trail.
That's right.
We want to keep them clean and open for all of our kids and kids and kids' kids and
Their
grandkids
kids.
and generational kids and whatever comes after humans. You
And
know.
Rocket the Raccoon. So,
Okay.
I'm sorry, that was a terrible joke. I got nothing for it. I was going to make a Trash Panda joke because, raccoon, but I'm tired, folks. They all can't be zingers.
You're doing pretty good. You're doing pretty good. All right, folks, take care, and we will talk at you later. Bye.
Bye.
Proceeding has been provided for entertainment only. Proper service and repair procedures are vital to the safe, reliable operation of all motor vehicles, as well as personal safety of those performing those repairs. Standard safety procedures and precaution, including the use of safety goggles and proper tools and equipment, should be followed at all times to eliminate the possibility of personal injury or improper service which could damage the vehicle or compromise its safety.
What he said. Thanks a lot for listening, guys. You guys have a great day.
Bye.
This has been a Bent Axle Media production.